Hello everybody, happy Friday night. Welcome to my Zen Den. I'm so glad that you could join me tonight. My name is Mandy Van Havermet and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up from Gray Eagle, Minnesota. Tonight, I don't know if you guys caught this week that Stampin' Up released some online exclusives. And they are so stinking cool. And okay, so a little tidbit about me. I have one real vice. It's coffee. I love coffee. Love, love, love coffee. And so they have a new bundle out called Latte Love. Ironic, right? So I am going to create a few cards tonight. 2 cards I'm going to show you how to create, and then we'll look at a couple of samples too of some other cards that I've received and some swaps. And so let's flip the camera around and get stamping right away. Hold on just 1 second. There we go. All right. So bear with me while I get myself set up. There is the Latte Love stamp set. It is a photopolymer stamp set, so it is able to do what they call 2-step stamping. So got some really neat sentiments. Hello there, let's catch up. Thanks so much. This one's on me. You're the best part of my day. And these are just some really fun stamps that you can like 2-step a little bit in there, and I'll show you some of that. And then it's got a really great die set that goes with it. So it's got a couple of like a French press, so you can layer those together. Another little coffee pot. So like this is the handle to the coffee pot. Super cute. And a lot of these dies coordinate with the stamps. And then there is the designer series paper. And let me tell you, it is such cool paper. So this sheet here, there is a die that actually will cut out those coffee cups right there. And also there's a circle die that is the exact same size as the center. So if you wanted the center of just the coffee cup, you could do that as well. So let's go through the designer series paper. And I've went through and flipped them so I won't have to be turning them. Nice coffee stains. Some beautiful coffee beans, and the colors of this designer series paper are early espresso, basic white, petal pink, calypso coral, lemon lolly, pecan pie, and lost lagoon. So really fun colors. This one is really neat. I've seen these coffee cups fussy cut, and I'll show you a couple samples with those. Such fun sentiments. And then this one here, it's actually a bunch of coffee cups and spoons and coffee beans. Very cool. Some more coffee splattered paper. Looks like I got a hold of it. Just a nice Lost Lagoon stripe pattern. And then it looks like a creamy, yummy goodness right there. And then the designs, the swirls. So fun. Such neat paper. So, and then also in the suite, there is this really beautiful, it's a burlap ribbon. And it is, let's see, 3/8 inch wide. So it's burlap, so it ties a pretty chunky bow. It's not really a good bow tying ribbon, but it is a really nice, I like burlap ribbon because it layers and it adds a nice texture onto your cards. And then there are also these adhesive swirl dots, and they're very neat. They're pecan pie, petal pink, and then I think this is very vanilla, and they've got these really neat swirls in there. I love them. They're so pretty. Okay, so let's get making our card. Our first card is going to be, let's make sure I got that where you can see it. These are 2 cards that I created, and we're going to make a 3rd one. So I took that piece of designer series paper and I actually fussy cut out the coffee cups on here. So these are 2 coffee cups just kind of layered together. And then this one here, I actually stamped "You're the best part of my day" right onto that coffee cup that I fussy cut out. So let's get cracking on that card. And this looks like a lot of pieces of paper. It's not bad. That's not the right card. Let's grab this one. Okay, so I have a piece of early espresso, and it is 4 1/4 by 11. I've got a piece of designer series paper, and I've got that coffee cup designer series paper, the coffee cup and the spoon. It's 4 by 4. And then I've got a contrasting piece of designer series paper that is 4 by 1.5. And then I've got a piece of, we're going to layer up our squares here. So I've got a piece of basic white that's 2.5 by 2.5, a piece of Calypso Coral, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and a piece of Early Espresso that's 3 by 3. And then I've got a piece of basic white for the inside that's just 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got some scraps here. I'm actually going to stamp our coffee cup onto this piece here, and then a little piece of pecan pie that you can do a little bit more stamping on. So let's get started here. I'm going to start by building my card base. So we will go ahead and fold and burnish our card base. Got a little bubble there. Okay, and then I'm going to take my 4 by 4 piece, and usually there's one side that's off a little bit, or that's just a little bit, I don't know. There we go. So I'm going to actually go ahead and tear off one edge of that, and I'm going to make it a little, like, I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be a little rougher to actually make it so it looks like it's torn. And then I'm going to grab my Early Espresso ink pad, and I've got a sponge dauber here. And I love this technique where you rip it a little bit, and then especially if you've got a lighter piece, if you take the Early Espresso, it looks like you've burned your paper, which is probably not a good idea to actually do, but it's a lot of fun to make it look like you've done it. And so you'll really notice it, and I'm just putting it on that edge that I've ripped, and you'll really notice it when I put it up against. Isn't that neat? I like that look. So that's all I'm going to do with my Early Espresso for right now. So let's put this part down first. Grab my adhesive. And I know a lot of people don't like this adhesive. They find that it's really difficult to use. I made myself use it. I really, really like my Seal and my Seal Plus. Seal Plus is actually a little bit more tricky to me because it's such an aggressive adhesive. But my regular Seal, once you get used to it, it is really, it's like my go-to. I love it. So I am going to, I've cut this, so the 4, I'm going to make sure that I line up as best I can here. There we go. The 4-inch square will fit perfectly with this 1.5, so it just overlaps just a little bit. Isn't that a neat feature on that card? I really like that. I think that's such a neat look. Okay, so now we're going to do just a little bit of stamping on these 3 pieces here. So I'm going to bring in my coffee cup, and that is, let's see here, that's this coffee cup stamp right here. And then I'm going to bring in this little stamp here, which is like the coffee. It's going to sit in there. I'll show you what I mean. So I've got I'm going to use a Lost Lagoon ink pad, and I'm going to stamp it right directly on my Designer Series paper. Just like that. So it's going to be like a patterned cup, right? Kind of neat. And now I'm going to bring in my pecan pie ink pad. Do you say pecan or pecan? I say pecan. I don't know. I don't know what's right. In my world, it's pecan. So we're going to stamp those 2 things right there. Close up my ink pads while I have, so I don't make a mess. Then I'm going to bring in my stamp, cut and emboss my plates for you here. So I'm going to I'll layer them right on together. There's no reason we can't run them together and make one pass. My dies. So I'm going to grab this coffee cup, and then I'm going to grab this little oval shaped disc. That's this right here. So we'll stick that on there. I'm going to grab a Post-it note Stick that right down. Make sure it stays. And do the same thing with my cup. All right, so now we have got our plate number 1, our plate number 2, and then our plate number 3, and we're going to stick another plate number 3 on top. And then I will run that through my cut and emboss machine. Okay. So we'll take those apart. And I'll stick my sticky notes over here because I will reuse those. Okay. So we've got our piece of coffee that we've got cut out and our coffee cup. So cute, right? Let's stick these guys back. All right. So I'm going to take a little bit of Tombow glue, or my green glue, and just glue this guy. Don't need a lot because it'll squish right out on you. And we'll glue that down right inside of our cup so it looks like a nice cup of coffee. Isn't that cute? All right, and now let's see where I'm going to put my cup of coffee in relation to where I'm going to put my stamp. So I'm going to be using the same stamp that I used on my other cards. You're the best part of my day. I'm just putting it in a little bit different, and I think I'm going to canter my cup just a little bit, and if he hangs off a little, that's okay too. I'm going to put it down in the bottom corner. And I'm going to use my Early Espresso ink, I think. My ink, I think. I could be a poet. All right. So right down there. I love photopolymer stamps. You can see exactly what you're doing. And it makes lining things up like that so easy. I just love it. Let that Early Espresso ink tends to take a little bit longer to dry. So I'm going to let that sit for just a second while I mount these onto my card. And what I'm going to do is put the piece of Early Espresso right directly down. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals, and I've got some started. No, I don't. Brand new sheet. Look at that. I'm going to take my Early Espresso, or I'm sorry, my Calypso Coral, and attach that right onto that. Bump that up just a little bit. Give it some dimension. And if you wanted to put some ribbon or some linen thread behind here, you totally could. Just like that. All right, so I'm going to put that right on there. Oops. And just center those squares right on there like that. And then we'll put our coffee cup. How about like that? I could put it straight. Could I put it straight? Let's put it straight. We don't want to spill our coffee. That would be a waste. There we go. So cute. I love that card. So there is card number 1. And again, you could make this, there's so many options for the coffee cups. So there's how I made it, but I've also got some fussy cut coffee cups and another fussy cut coffee cup. All the same cards. So that's card number 1. Oh, we probably should put it inside in. Otherwise, I'll go to mail this card and I won't be able to write a note. Let's do that. All right, there we go. All set. Okay, card number 2. Card number 2, I'm actually going to cut out some designer series paper with the die. So we are going to need a piece of petal pink, and it's 5.5 by 8.5. And this is scored down the middle at 4 1/4, but then it's scored again at 2 1/8. So what it's going to do, we're going to make a, this is a Z-fold card. Then I've also got a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4, and that's our inside panel. And then I've got a piece of designer series paper, and I like this paper with the lines running up and down. It's 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And then I used, to cut these pieces out, I used my deckled rectangle dies. If you don't have the I love these dies. Number one, let me tell you something. These are some of my favorite dies. I use them a lot. But if you don't have them, roughly 3 by 4 1/4 rectangle and 2.5 by 4 rectangle of designer series paper, and then roughly 1 by 2 3/8 basic white. But all of these were cut out, these 3 pieces were cut out using the deckled rectangles, and I did that ahead of time just so you wouldn't have to watch me do that. So let's fold and burnish our card here. So we're going to fold just like a regular card at the 4 1/4 one, at the 4 1/4, and then at the 2 1/8 you're going to fold it back. So it's going to make a card that looks like that. So it'll open up like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach our piece of basic white onto the inside. And I'm not going to be stamping anything on this basic white. You could definitely dress up the inside of your card. I'm just choosing not to on this card. Okay, and so now I'm going to take this piece of designer series paper and I'm going to attach it onto the front. Just like this. And I'm going to be mindful to line it and leave it, make it equal with the basic white that's on the inside. And that's why I did the basic white first, so that I could have a visual, so I could see where it was, so that I don't make these not equal. It wouldn't be as pleasing to the eye. So do this piece first and then do this piece so you can line them up and make them the same. So here again, we're just going to attach this piece right down onto our pecan pie. And this still makes me want to have a nice cup of coffee. All right, and then we're going to attach that right down onto there. So you need to be mindful here again. You're going to need to be mindful that you don't get any adhesive on this part of your card. So when you open it, you want it to open just like that. So you want to make sure no adhesive gets onto this part. Okay. The easiest way that I've found to do that is to put the adhesive right onto this part of my card. So I put it onto here, so I'm not guessing where it's landing on that side. So I'll just attach that right down onto there. So our card is basically built. What I'm going to do is I'm taking another piece of the designer series paper, and I'm actually going to cut out a couple of coffee cups. And I'm going to show you a little trick that's kind of fun. So like I said before, this die here will actually fit these coffee cups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one out that's on the edge, and see this piece, you can see it. It's not an entire cup. I'm going to tuck that one behind. So use your edge pieces to the best of your advantage. Don't let those pieces go to waste. So I'm going to have to make 2 passes through my cut and emboss machine. So I'm going to cut this one, and then I'm going to line my die up and cut this greenish Lost Lagoon cup out also. So let me put them through my cut and emboss machine quick. And these dies all work in the mini cut and emboss machine also. So if all you have is the mini, all of these dies will work in the mini. Or if you're traveling and that's what you're bringing with, what have you. These dies will fit into your mini, which is a lot of fun. So there we go. We've got our 2 coffee cups cut out. And I will put my die back. All right, so now we're going to adhere these onto, so I'm just going to, like that, adhere them on there. And you can't tell then that this piece doesn't have, it's got that flat line on it. You can't, nobody will know, right? Here, let's turn it so that there. And we can even turn them however you want, just make it so that that is hidden. I love being tricky. All right, so let's attach those down. Just like that, and I'm going to hang them off the edge, just a smidge, just for fun. And that one too, just like that. And I'm using the green glue mostly because then I can wiggle it as I'm positioning it on there. If I were to be using the seal, the Stampin' Seal, my tape runner, I'd have to make sure that they're staying because that's not repositionable. The glue has got a little bit of a repositioning to it, so that's why I wanted to use the glue. All right, now let's stamp our sentiment, and I'm going to be using the sentiment "Hello there, let's catch up." So I am going to use, what color ink do I want to use? I think I'm going to go with the, I like the Early Espresso, just to get a little, to tie in with our coffee here. Just like that. I'm going to let that set for just a second while it cures. You know what? I'm going to take some of these dots, or swirl dots, and I'm going to put some of those on there. I think that'll be fun. Just down here. I'm going to put one, just 2, to match my 2 coffee cups. Just like that. Cute! I like that. Okay, let's grab our "Hello there," put a couple dimensionals on the back. 1, 2, 3. And I can cover that up just a little bit too on the coffee cup. Overlap that just a smidge. There we go. There is card number 2. That's so cute. I love that. Oh, and it opens up like that. Simple little Z-fold card, little fun fold. So cute. Okay. I've got a couple other cards to share with you that I've received in some swaps from some friends. Let's get rid of those. This one here is from Brenda Springer, the one and only Brenda Springer. What I love about this, such a cute card, right? I love the colors, the simple. This one's on me, and she fussy cut out that little heart because she's the queen of fussy cutting. And then this is actually a gift card holder. Thanks so much. So you could put your Starbucks gift card in there or what have you. Super fun card. This one is from Amy Notch, and this is actually a really neat fun fold. So you actually have to kind of open it a little bit. Like, it's got an actual little score line back here. So you have to open it, like peel it or bend it, and then, so thanks so much. Use that die. And there again, she cut out the piece of designer series paper. Love that. And then this is a card that I made. Such a fun, I love this. I used a little bit of a blending brush behind there to make a little bit of a shadow. And then it's a fun fold also. Super cute. I love the spoon. I love everything about that. And then "Hello there, let's catch up." Another card that I created using, I stamped the image and then stamped in here also, and cut those out and stacked them together. So those are my coffee cards. And again, those are online exclusives. So to order those, what you would do is you can get a hold of me. Otherwise, to look at them, there is no catalog for them. They're not in any catalog. Instead, you would need to go to the website, to my website, and then when you go to shop, the different categories, so like the paper and dyes and ink and all that stuff, there's an online exclusives selection there, and that's where all the kits and all the online exclusives are. And there are lots. There's some zinnia paper in there. It is like the happiest paper you're ever going to see. It is the brightest, funnest colors ever. I'm hoping to get to show you some designs with that as well. Anyhow, don't forget to set your clocks back on Sunday. It is daylight savings time, and I will not be here next week. I may pop on to say hi, but I won't be showing you any cards. I'm going to be at Houston for a Stampin' Up! Convention with some girlfriends. I am so excited, and to bring back some stuff that I learn and share with you, and I'm going to get a new catalog. I'm very excited. So I will be in touch. I will be posting some things on Facebook. Otherwise, keep stamping, and I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.